And we're back. For those of you guys that are just tuning in, this is Free Speech from Moett, and of course, I am Moett. You can follow me everywhere on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, anything. That's IamMoett. All right, y'all. And I have Terence Mills here. Introduce yourself.
Yo. This is Terence Mills,
You gotta talk to the mic.
otherwise known as Designer Newstar, photographer, brand consultant. We wear a lot of hats over here, so thank you for having me on. Let's get into it.
All right. So let the people know where they can follow you, different things like that.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, also major social medias, Designer Newstar, and also my business page, Newstar Studios with an S. Just look me up and give me a follow.
Yep, y'all definitely make sure y'all go follow Terrence. I've been knowing him for a very long time, and he's definitely been a very good friend of mine and definitely a good influence on my life. Definitely pushing me to be able to think outside of the box and really demand more for myself and different things like that. So how did you get into design?
So design was very, very early on in my life. I was in middle school and I stumbled across Photoshop. Back then Photoshop was like $800. You had to buy, before you could get into it. But I had a friend, and a friend had a dad who had money, and we started dabbling and playing with it. So that's when it started for me. It led from that to actually competitions for school, things like that. And after that, it was a full-on passion and a full-on obsession with creating.
Yeah, you make some really dope graphics. Like, I'm talking about templates and everything.
Thank you.
All of your stuff is super dope. So, in regards to like your graphics, what made you transition with graphics and tie in photography with that?
So, it's an interesting story. I think it's just a natural growth and evolution, from graphic design to photography, because the two actually coincide, right? Whatever you can't have access to or resources to with photography, with graphic design, you start to begin to venture out and create what you don't have resources to or access to, right?
Right.
So that's how photography came into play. If I didn't have a specific image, I was able to go capture that image and use it in my artwork, and that opened up a whole new world for me. So it was very interesting.
That's dope. So in regards to like your photography and your graphic design, I know now you do a lot more photography and different things like that. So how was that transition, and what actually led you to transition that way?
It was basically on a personal note. It was just the gravitation towards having a larger impact and able to create these images for people and to see how they would utilize the images afterwards. With graphic design, it's kind of like you create it. It has this lifespan,
yeah.
And then if it wasn't this impactful image, it kind of like spans out. But with images, I found like they last a lot longer.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients, I would work with them early on in their career, and those same images would, carry them to the next levels and the next stages in their career. So it was definitely a longer lifespan with photography and the work that I was able to create with that.
Okay. So also within all of that, so how did brand consulting tie into that?
Oh wow. So once the design aspect was, in the bag, and then the photography was, it was thriving and on its own, then I was starting to build a network, and that network allowed me to connect different people of all walks and actually just help them grow in the direction that they need to grow. So if I did a design project for a client and I was working with another client for photography, I can actually pair those two together. I'm basically that missing link.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I was able to pair those two together, and they were able to create something even more impactful or just make a bigger splash on whatever they were trying to accomplish. And that's when the branding consulting kind of like, it sparked, it was birthed, and I was like, okay, that's a whole new lane that I can explore. And with each and every field, each and every creative aspect, it sparks a new you.
Yeah.
You start to think a different way, you start to maneuver a different way, and you just tie in all of your skills. And brand consulting was birthed out of, those two prior skills.
Oh, that's dope. That's super dope. So what projects and different things like that do you currently have that you're working on?
I actually just wrapped up a huge project. I kept quiet about it the entire time because I was just so engulfed with the work and learning the new aspects of it. But I was basically the creative director for TJ Hudson, state as a secretary. He was running for Georgia.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah, that was a colossal thing. Again, that impactful, force that I spoke about. My work was able to be seen all over Georgia. It was basically a national thing that got recognized. So
that's amazing.
I designed his logo. I created his website. All of his merchandise was created from the logo that I designed. So basically his branding in a whole was created by me. I had to, a little struggle, a little battle there to get things pushed through, but ultimately it was the best thing for him. And he really made a splash with his election run. Very proud of him and the whole team. And it's just been amazing to be a part of that.
That is dope. That is super dope. So outside of that project that you just wrapped up, what would you say is one of the most, I would say like iconic or biggest projects that you've worked on? Because I know you've worked on a lot, like a lot.
Yeah. So most iconic, can I break it up into two categories?
Yeah, you can.
So on a personal level, there isn't one specific iconic project that I can say. It's just dealing with each and every person that I came across and was able to push them forward. Like that's, to me, is iconic. The everyday people get wrapped up in the celebrities and doing, the larger scale projects. Those are good, nice to have on your resume. But when it comes down to actually doing the work, getting dirty, pulling up your sleeves and helping people each and every day, the smaller projects are really what the most impactful for me. Now, on a larger scale, I had a project for Billboard.com. I never spoke.
Wow.
I did this.
Oh, wow.
This is new, so I'm gonna give you some new stuff.
Okay.
I never spoke about this, but it was an artist. He was signed to Epic Records. I want to say the name. Still keep that low.
Okay.
But I did a photography project for him, and it got pushed through Billboard.com. It was published, and also it was published on the label. So that was pretty big for me. I also did a project that was in connection with 50 Cent.
Oh, that's it.
It was graphic design, and it was working with an artist that he was managing at the time. And I think those two, to the day, are most iconic. If I'm leaving out something, man, y'all, please forgive me. People who follow me, just please forgive me. There's a lot going on.
But that's dope. That is so dope. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So in regards to that, like I know you haven't spoke about it. You haven't like widely publicized it and different things like that. Like a lot of the big things that you have done and different things like that. So that, I feel like that makes you very humble in a sense. That makes you very humble, which being humble takes you a long way. Now, how do you think that kind of like portrays on your business and your brand in reference to how it's portrayed to the world in regards to social media?
Okay, so basically on a business scale, you know how they say all money isn't good money, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of live by that. It's kind of my mantra. I like to pick and choose, and I think I'm blessed that at this stage of my journey, I can pick and choose which projects I would like to pursue and enter into, because each project, man, it's kind of like you're going into a relationship with this situation, and you want to always give your best. So with that in mind, I like to stay within a specific range, a specific kind of like a vibration, if you would call it.
Yeah.
And that's how I select those projects and keep everything going as far as that's concerned.
That's dope. So in regards to like your photography, your graphic design, your branding consultant, I know, like you said, you wear a lot of hats and different things like that. So do you currently have like a team that you ensue, like if a project comes in, then you do a team, or is it still just like mainly just you?
It's mainly just me, and it's structured that way. Now, I outsource. I'm not afraid to say that, because within business, you can't touch everything.
Yeah.
Definitely if you want to be really successful, you have to outsource. You have to kind of have individuals that are along the ride with. But in what I do, I like I said, I pick and choose. So the day that I do decide to scale up and have employees and just go big or go home, then that'll be the day that I really put the people that I know have my back, and within that circle, and I can put and ensure that the projects and responsibilities get handled by them.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope. So I know you mentioned the fact of being able to pick and choose. Like all money isn't good money. Being able to pick and choose. How long do you think that it took you to get to that place, or have you always been in that place in a sense?
It took years. It took a lot of time because along the journey, it's trial and error. You bump your head. You try different things. You figure out what works, what doesn't, and you try to keep good notes, right?
Right.
You try to keep good notes on what does work. And it took me nearly almost 10 years to figure out, for me, what works. And once I developed that, I wrote my policies around it. I structured the way I work around it. And that allowed me to stay at a level to where I can do large projects like, Secretary of State of Georgia, and I can also pick and choose my impactful projects. So I think I just stayed grounded by being smaller instead of scaling up so big. Everybody wants to scale up, right?
Right.
Everybody wants the big money, right?
Right.
But how many people are focusing on peace? How many people are focusing on
Right.
purpose? How many people are actually enjoying the work that they do? We spend a lot of time doing this, right?
Yeah.
So we got to be able to have more takeaways than money, more takeaways than Insta fame, right?
Right.
We gotta, whatever your purpose is, you gotta follow that purpose, man. And for me, is being at peace, is being able to make an impact, and that's what I focus on.
That is super dope. That is super dope. Now, I know, like, I've talked to a lot of different artists, and I always ask them this question in regards to, like, being able to invest in yourself. How important is it to be able to invest in yourself along this type of journey?
With this journey, you definitely have to have money management skills. You have to know how to manage your money. You have to know how you generate your money. And then you have to move in accordance to both, right? So you have to basically believe in yourself enough to know, hey, I can make X amount of dollars. And you have to educate yourself enough. There's plenty of tools out there, YouTube, and countless books about money management and even mentorship. You can get into that and teach yourself how to finance your own business. I know a lot of people, they need to say, hey, I need money, I need startup money, I need investors. If you really look at your business model and figure out what works for you, you'll find yourself not needing a lot of investment or backing or support. You can operate off of whatever your budget is and continue to move forward. Like again, it took me nearly 15 years to get to this level, but there were no investors. There were no loans. There were no, just bags of money found beside the road or anything like that.
Right.
It was me on my own, like just grinding it out, being responsible and knowing where I wanted to take things.
That's dope. That's super dope. So in regards to like money management, I know you said there's like YouTube videos, books, which there are, and different things like that, and mentorship. Like, who is one of your greatest mentors that you've had?
Greatest mentor? That's a great question. That's a great question because it's a gumbo of everybody. I pick up little pieces here from everybody. Dave Ramsey is one of the guys I can say. He has this little, basically a whole step-by-step guide of how to eliminate your debt, how to snowball. It's called the snowball effect.
Yeah,
and how to get your finances in order. I followed that. And then I also pieced together. There's so many other options out there, man. I just basically came up with my own system by compiling everybody else's, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does. And the crazy thing is that I've been talking, like over the last week, I've been talking about Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, because I read that book, and it's definitely, if you haven't read that book, you definitely need to go get that book, The Total Money Makeover. By Dave Ramsey. It's a step, literally, like he said, a step-by-step guide. I'm currently still in step 1, but hey, you got to start somewhere. So now, in regards to you recently paid off your student loans.
I did.
How was that process?
Whew, it was tough. A lot of sacrifice. But again, I knew what I wanted to accomplish, and I had to stick with it. A lot of people let time get in the way.
Yeah.
Time is a very valuable resource that we have to learn how to use, right? And no matter how much time that it takes to accomplish that, you got to stay locked in. You got to stay, with that purpose. You got to stay whatever rules, whatever regulations that you come up with it for yourself. you got to follow those rules. So if it meant not eating out or not buying expensive things for a while, or if I needed to generate more money, those were the steps that I needed to take. That's what I had to do to get to that point.
That's dope. That is super dope. I'm gonna pay off my student loans one day. I'm gonna work on it. Whenever I get into the snowball effect, like I'm gonna start tackling those processes, different things like that. Now, in regards to like your career and different things like that, what is the next step for you?
So for me, and I'm gonna throw Newstar Studios, they named me there. I'm actually about to move to Texas. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. More so the Dallas area.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing that's going on in Dallas right now. That's why I gravitated to that area. It's the new Atlanta.
Oh man.
It's the new Atlanta. It's so many creatives gravitate to the area. People from all walks of life, people from all different backgrounds. It's just a melting pot of creativity, if I would say. Opportunity is going to be so abundant in the area. I've already connected with a lot of creators from the area, and it's just the energy is phenomenal. It's a different type of energy, you know. Definitely going to be something special.
That's dope. That's super dope. That's super lit. Wow, that is super lit. So I know that you were talking about, like you have been talking about Texas for a while and different things like that. What made you actually come to the decision, like, you know what, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go? Like, what brought you to that decision?
So that decision came uncomfortably. Yeah, I got pushed out of the nest with that decision. You know, sometimes you get complacent, right?
Yeah.
And in your mind, you know what you want to do. In your heart, you're like, you know, you're back and forth with the idea. But for me, it was just a situation that hit me. It was kind of like a revelation. One day, I'm sitting typing on and working on some work, right? And it just hit me. It's like, are you doing what you were meant to be doing? Or are you comfortable in the place you are?
Oh, wow.
So I thought on that for a while, right? And every time I tried to come up with an answer, it was no. It was no, I'm not doing as much as I could be doing. I'm not pushing myself as far as I could go to see my full potential. So with all those no's, I was like, so are you gonna move? And the answer was yes.
That's dope. That's dope.
Most definitely.
That reminds me of something that my coach says, and that a lot of coaches that I follow and people like that they always say, you gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's it.
Like, you gotta push yourself outside of your comfort zone to be able to step up to the next level. So in regards to that, how important is that in regards to like leveling up your career and going to the next level?
You have to take calculated risks. Without risk, there's no rewards. I know it's cliche to say, right? But
It's a fact, though.
But it's the truth, man. It is so much the truth. You have to take the risk. You have to see your full potential. A lot of people every day are just like comfortable, right? They will never know or understand the full potential. You were born and raised in the area, right? And you're just there. You may be top dog where you are. You may be big fish in a small pond, right? But you never know if you can be the big fish in the big pond.
Yeah.
Until you take that risk, take that step. You gotta go.
Right.
The one thing I always heard is you gotta go to grow.
That's good.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's good. You gotta grow. You gotta go to grow. I like that. So in regards to like your life, your career, the place where you're at right now, what if you could go back and talk to your middle school self that was just starting out with like graphics and different things like that, what would you say to you?
What would I say to my middle school self? That's a good question. But the first thing that comes to my mind is always believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because along this road, it was a lot of people who said, "Hey, you're dope," but they didn't understand how dope I was.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how dope I was.
Yeah.
And it's like looking back in hindsight, I accomplished things that probably nobody ever would have dreamed or thought that I would be able to accomplish coming from a small town like Soperton, Georgia. You know? So I would tell myself, always believe in yourself. Never doubt yourself. Keep pushing and stay creative. Stay open-minded to a lot of different things and opportunities, because you never know what doors can open if only you knock on them, right?
Right.
Definitely got to knock on those doors.
That's dope. So, in regards to like all of that, what would you tell someone that is coming up that kind of like aspires to do the? I know you tweeted that you were possibly starting coaching and different things like that. Like, what would you say to someone that is like want to do the same things that you have done and they don't know like where to start, where to begin, different things like that?
You definitely got to start with self. You got to get your mind right. You got to get your spirit right. For me, spirituality is big. You have to have a connection with your God or whatever you believe in. You have to have a tight connection with that, because that's where you're going to find your strength. That's where you're going to find your focus, your guidance. That's where you're going to find your resources.
Right.
Sometimes when I'm working on a project or I don't know, what's the right answers to certain situations, I just chill out and I connect with God, and I always get an answer, or I always get a sign or a resource, and it pushes me in the right direction. He hasn't failed me yet, so
that's good.
Doing something right?
That is really good. That's good, because it's important. Like, a lot of people, all of the successful people speak in regards to having faith in whatever it is that you believe in, because you got to have faith to be able to still take that step and not know what's going to happen next.
That's it.
Like, you got to be able to do that. So let the people know who you are, what you do, where they can find you, and all of that good stuff.
All right, so I'm Terence Mills, designer Newstar by name. Newstar Studios is what I am and who I am, my brand. I'm a photographer, graphic designer, brand consultant. I'm basically, and I'm trying to step into mentoring, y'all. I'm trying to get this thing going to where I can lead people in ways that I wish I had been led before. You can find me on my IG and all major socials at Designer Newstar. Even on my Twitter handle, Designer Newstar. Y'all tweet me, follow me, look me up, YouTube as well. I'm about to get started on that, pursuing that journey. So just holler at me, find me.